Are you finding yourself snapping at the smallest things out of nowhere? Don't brush it off as just a bad mood. It could be a red flag for something even deeper. Depression might be lurking, so it's crucial to pay attention, especially if this behavior is unusual for you. You might have heard about this already, but mental health is really as important as physical health. All of us have different ways of dealing with our struggles in life. Having said that, we also react differently with our feelings and hardships. It is important that you are aware of how you react because you might already be suffering from depression. Depression is a common mental health disorder that affects a significant amount of people worldwide. According to the World Health Organization, or otherwise known as WHO, there are more than 264 million people of all ages that suffer from depression globally. That is about 3.4% of the entire world's population. It's worth noting that this figure represents only those diagnosed with depression, and many people with depression may not seek help or receive proper diagnosis. So the actual numbers of people infected by depression may be even higher, though maybe lower to be fair. But if you want to unmask depression and be aware of the obvious and not so obvious signs, stick with us until the end, and in this video we'll count down the 10 spine-chilling depression signs you never knew that you needed to look out for. Let's dive right in. A quick disclaimer though, we are not medical professionals, but here at Healthee, we want to make sure that you are aware of the things that can affect your health and that includes a mental health free of worries and anxiety. If you feel that you or a loved one is suffering from serious depression, please consult a medical professional. Number 10, a change in the eating and sleeping patterns. Your sleep patterns are one of the first things that will get affected when you have depression. I know some of you might say that it is somehow normal to have changes with sleeping and eating habits, but most of the time, it means something deeper. There might be times when you will notice that you are eating more than usual. It can go both ways though. If you are eating less than what you usually eat, then there must be something wrong as well. A lot of people are suffering from depression and they're having sleep issues. According to multiple medical studies, 15% of people suffering from depression have hypersomnia, while 20% have obstructive sleep apnea. Additionally, these sleep issues may influence the function of the neurotransmitter serotonin, which is also responsible for the development of depression. Number 9. You find it difficult to concentrate. We can often be sidetracked most of the time, especially if we're not having the best day. This may be as bothersome as the other symptoms on our list. This may not be as bothersome as the other symptoms on our list, but this one could be very challenging, especially when you used to have a very concrete plan for your future. The more that you lose your concentration, the more you will feel depression taking over your mental health. When you want to achieve a goal, you have to be concentrated enough to even want to get there. But depression would often interfere with those dreams. When things do not go according to your plans because of depression, you would somehow lose focus and would just stop trying altogether. This actually becomes a cycle most of the time. When you are battling with depression, you would often feel anxious, which would lead to losing concentration and focus on things that matters to you the most. Number 8, you start closing off the outside world. Many people would identify themselves as introverts and would say that they just naturally enjoy themselves alone. But if you are someone who often goes out with the other people, there might be something wrong when you choose not to. Indulging in alone time is perfectly fine, but are you truly enjoying it? If the answer is a resounding yes, then revel in it guilt-free. However, if being alone makes you uneasy or uncomfortable, it might be worth it to explore the root of these negative feelings. Have you felt this before? Number 7, your emotional distress is at an all-time high. Your feelings are much more noticeable when you have depression. You would often feel sad or hopeless most of the time when you are struggling with this. What is more, is worrying with this situation is the fact that you do not know what to do. And please know that this is something that you would really feel when you are dealing with depression. If you think that you can no longer take the stress that these emotions are making go through them, then make it a point to consult it with a medical professional, because these things should not be taken lightly. Number 6. If you are feeling physically tired, even though there are not much experiences going on in life, then you should check up on your emotions as well. Most of the time when you are depressed, you can somehow feel like you do not have enough energy to deal with anything. According to some people who have been clinically diagnosed with depression, they would often feel very sleepy. This could be our body's defense system, but we can never really tell unless we seek professional help with these kinds of things. It would all boil down to how observant we are of our bodies and personality. The more that we know about ourselves, the more that we will be able to tell if there is something wrong with us. There are more serious symptoms that you might be dealing with right now, which you are not aware of. But we will get to that in the remaining 5 symptoms, so don't worry. Number 5. Nothing seems interesting to you. This could be very alarming, especially if you are someone who used to be really driven in everything, and now you are not as driven to do anything. Since depression is associated with having less energy, it is just common to assume that you might also be dealing with this when you feel the lack of interest in the things that you used to love. In the worst case scenario, even moving just a little bit could somehow really stress you out. Have you ever experienced any of these signs before? Are you still experiencing them? Let us know in the comments below, and let's chat together as a healthy community. Number 4. You often overthink. This one is very common for people who are usually stressed with their lives. Overthinking could be normal if you are someone who easily gets over things. But if you are finding it hard to move forward because of a specific thing that you have done in the past, then you should determine the root of this overthinking. You know how overthinking could be a total waste of time, and it would not do you any good if you continue to do this, knowing that all of us do not have any control of the future anyway. Number 3. Not wanting to bathe yourself. You might brush it off as a minor inconvenience, not wanting to take a shower, especially on chilly days. But for some battling depression, even the simplest task can be quite overwhelming. Everyday routines can turn into a source of stress and anxiety, making it difficult to manage daily life. Number 2. You are getting anxious about the most simple of things. Anxiety could be a different issue, but most people with depression deal with anxiety as well. If you easily get nervous at the most random of things, then this could be a sign that you have anxiety. Worrying sometimes could be normal, but always sticking so much into things could pose a real danger to your mental health. Worst case for some people would be finding it hard to breathe when being faced with situations that they do not want us to feel. Even though there is no proof that depression can cause anxiety, most people are still relating these two, and sometimes people are even interchanging terms. But whether you have depression or anxiety, both of these situations, mental health problems that you should deal with right now. Okay, and number 1, thinking of death. Okay, we are really getting serious with this one. If you have ever thought of harming yourself in any way, then this is a reminder that this is not normal, and you should probably call the suicide hotline immediately. Most of us don't even think of death because we are afraid to deal with it. But if you are someone who thinks of this more than you should, then it could really end up badly and affects your mental health seriously as well. At the end of the day, you are the one who knows yourself best more than anyone else. So I think that you are showing these signs that I have talked about, then you might want to check out. So if you think you're showing these signs that I have talked about, then you might want to check with a medical professional who could give you a better and more appropriate advice. If you want to know more about how you can make your physical and mental health better, then Healthee is at your service. If you love this video, then you would certainly enjoy the next one. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe, and see you in the next one.